You're ready to dive into AI video editing. Maybe you edit your own videos, or maybe you hire someone else to. Either way, before you cancel your Adobe subscription or fire your editor, let me put a couple thoughts on your radar. I'm gonna help you find a balance between avoiding shiny object syndrome, that's pursuing things just because they look cool, and being left in the dust while other people zoom ahead with their content creation. If you're passionate about visual communication or you just want to learn more, please be sure to like and subscribe this channel to stay up to date. So, let's imagine you're at a networking event and there's 3 types of people at this event. First, you've got this person is driven, they are there for business. That is where their mission begins and ends. They don't have any room for any fluff. And they are going from person to person. They quickly get all the information they need from you and then talk about all the things that are important to them. And if you don't align with where they're at, they move on quick. And maybe you feel a little dismissed by this person. Well, obviously that person is going to miss out on some potential connections if they've not brushed up on their soft skills and they're a little impersonal. Then you have our second guy. This guy is very friendly. He's the king of soft skills. He'll ask you intentional questions, but he maybe goes a little too deep and it's maybe more than is either needed in that situation or wanted in that situation. Like I said, he's great at, having emotional and deep and beautiful conversations, but remember this is a networking event, and so there is some level of business kind of interaction that is desired by the people attending. We have our third person that I think we should kind of strive to be like. This person is a combination of the first two. They have great soft skills, they're kind, they're courteous, they're genuinely curious about the person they're talking to, but they've got a goal and they've got a mission and they're gonna find out the information they need, have a great time doing it, and then share the information they need to, and then they're going to move on to the next conversation and they will maximize their ability to create connections that night because they're not either offending people by not being interested enough or interesting enough, and they're not missing out on opportunities by maybe spending a little bit too much time on just one connection versus getting a better feel for the room. The reason I use this example of networking for AI video editing versus human video editing has to do with this. At the end of the day, the only reason you're getting in front of a camera, you're recording somebody else, you're recording anything, if you're planning for people to see it, you have a goal of connecting with the person who sees it. Everything we do revolves around the people that we're talking to. When you chose to use video, that means that you chose not to do something written, that you chose not to do just a picture or just audio. You chose this because it best fit what the needs are for what you're doing. And that's the most important thing I want to remind you of as you choose whatever workflow works for you. Don't lose sight of that basic element with whatever you choose to do. Which brings us to finding a solution. Just like I said at the beginning, we don't want to do shiny object syndrome, but we also don't want to be left behind while legitimately amazing tools are being released basically every day. The solution is finding the workflow that is realistic and sustainable for you. Let me just give you a little bit of glimpse into what my workflow is. So for me, what I did was I first started with a tool called vidIQ. I spent some time looking at some different keywords and I found something that resonated with some thoughts and some things that I had already been kind of stewing on a little. Once I found a keyword that there was not a lot of competition for and there seemed to be a decent search rate on the internet, I moved on to then crafting my title. I then worked on creating a concept for my thumbnail, And then I began to write the thing. Now, while I'm writing the script, I have a ChatGPT Plus subscription, and I'm constantly bouncing in between that. I'll a lot of times kind of throw out a thought and then I'll throw it into ChatGPT to see if I can maybe kind of mix it up a little bit, get a little influence in there that is something maybe I wouldn't normally think of, but is communicating something in a more creative or interesting way. Once I have my script together, I start working on the video, and then once it's recorded, I'll edit it, and I may use some AI tools. I may use AI audio stuff. If I want the audio to sound a little bit better and maybe there was some sort of glitch in recording it, that's super awesome to use. Once I have the project edited and I have it where I want it to be, I may pull some smaller pieces of content, either using an AI tool, or if it's faster, I'll just do it myself. I will pretty much always use some sort of transcription AI in order to be able to speed up how fast I can create captions for my video. After it's done, I'll likely use ChatGPT to create a lot of the description or different things, sometimes from the transcription of the whole video or sometimes just from a couple different thoughts. And that'll be for the primary video and then for any short form pieces of content. My gosh. In conclusion, it's important to realize that video editing is similar to networking. Little effort in can create lackluster results, while sometimes too much effort in can minimize how many people you're able to reach or how often you can reach them. Finding the balance in between both is really the best strategy. You're communicating at the highest quality that you can, but you're also maximizing how often you can do it and how many people you can communicate with. Remember, people are at the heart of what you're doing. So don't lose sight of that just because there's a new fancy gadget or because your editor is really expensive. And lastly, find a solution that works for you. Who cares what works for the other person? Who cares what works for everyone else? Find something that fits you. If you want to hear any more conversations about communication and connection, please check out my podcast, The Art of Connection. I have some really awesome conversations with some people that are doing really well connecting to their target audiences. Have a great rest of your day.